I just decided on the fly. You guys know this now, obviously, without me even having to say it. But I just came up with this idea, and I'm pitching it to you guys anyways. I'm going to have this video in two parts. Part one, where I talk about passion and ambition. And then part two, where I talk about the creative process and creation. Okay? Because that is something very complex and deep, and that fascinates me a lot because of its complexity, which draws me into it. Quite honestly, these two topics of passion and creation are, for me, more or less, because that's what these videos are about, like these topics relating to me, and because they're close topics to myself, my heart, and that's why I'm sharing them with you guys. So for me, they are very closely related together, and the reason why is because I find the things that give me the most passion and fuel my ambition the most is, quite honestly, working towards a goal. That's very fundamental for me, and I think it is for a lot of people. So working towards a goal and creating something, whether that is YouTube videos, which aren't physical at all, but merely just displays of my consciousness for your consciousness I to enjoy, whatever the plural of consciousness is, and whether it's that or architecture, building a building. That's the most physical creation and manifestation of creation you can do and perform. Whether it's videos or architecture, it's both the same to me. You're still bringing something out of your mind that your mind created from its cumulative experiences up until this point in your life, and that thought is a completely unique thought that can only be thought up by your mind, which is a culmination of all your previous experiences of your completely unique life. So of course our thoughts hold like fascinating creative value and like potential to be explored and analyzed. And I think I'm just coming up with this stuff on the spot right now, but like that most likely would be I was gonna try to use the word attribute in this sentence, but it's not fitting in there, so I'm gonna try to re-explain the idea I was just trying to explain. But okay, yeah, I think what I just explained could really be attributed to the love for art that there is, and the special connection that humanity feels to just the creative process as a whole, whether it's literature, whether it's poetry, which is still kind of literature, or music, or paintings, or what other types of art are there? Modern art, whether that could be buildings or also paintings, drawings, renditions of stuff. So yeah, all those forms of art hold such a deep value to us, and that is because of the creative process and the uniqueness of what the creative process is. Now, what I want to delve really into is what the creative process is, and most importantly, its relation to YouTube and video making, as I just listed in its list of forms. So video making is a form of art because art I don't know I think this would be a correct description. Art is the art of creation, or art is creation. Art is the act of creation. So art is the act of bringing your mind's imaginings and functionings into reality for others to perceive. That is what I love. That is what I want to do. That is creation. And whether that covers such a broad spectrum of things, because you could just be a philosopher giving lectures and you could fall under that category, because you are, I suppose, not bringing your consciousness into a physical form like you are with all the other types, but still the same, bringing your creative process and inflicting it and reflecting it into the consciousnesses of others and allowing them to experience that same process or result, you could call it, if you want to look at it that way, as the creative process being the achieving of a result. So like when so I guess you'd say Leonardo da Vinci's result of the creative process when he envisioned Mona Lisa and made that in his mind, the result is the painting. But the process, the whole creative process is in the result, basically. The whole thing, the whole adventure you embarked upon to get to that result is reflected in the result. The result's a culmination of it all, is what I'm trying to say. Hope you followed that. If you didn't, it's okay. That sums up all of philosophy for you. But wow, I just found a very convenient little sand bridge across a river, and I just parkoured that motherfucker. But the creative process with relation to YouTube, the reason why the most famous YouTubers you see are so successful and are so famous is because they have mastered, well, a lot of them, majority of them have mastered the creative process and the art of originality, because that is the essence of the creative process. It is bringing to life something that is completely unique and has not yet been thought of or brought to life. That is the creative process in its whole. It's not like in its description, it's not a complex thing, but in its like when it's being applied and used and performed, it is most definitely a complex thing, which brings the beauty to it. Philosophy is awesome because it encompasses everything in all of existence, which is actually a branch of philosophy called metaphysics, and apparently there's 5 other branches that encompass everything else, but everything else falls under the ultimate category of metaphysics, which is the questioning of everything and the essence of everything. But because of this, I'm editing the video and I need to go on a side note right here and just, talk a little bit and share a little bit more of my ideas, because they apply to this and they need to be shared, in my opinion. So I could go off about this all day, but this is a relevant topic, relevant to this point I'm talking about right now. And I don't know why, but when I was talking about this, I just brushed over this idea and I didn't really think of talking about what I'm about to say right now, which I've already thought about. But what I'm saying right here, I said the creative process is most definitely a complex thing when put into action and actually performed. The creative process is complex and very difficult for many reasons, but the biggest few reasons would be that you have to conjure an idea up out of your mind, out of nothingness. But ultimately, it's not created out of nothingness. It's created by connecting multiple thought processes in your brain to come up with another one. And that is how you create thoughts and ideas. That is one of the hard parts of the creative process. Another very hard part is sharing it with others and having them achieve the same experience that you just, I guess you could say, achieved or experienced. This exact experience that you want to share with them, because you feel excitement and like powerful emotion about this specific experience. You don't want to share a version of this experience or their interpretation of the experience with them. You want to share this exact experience with them, and that is why literature and writing, or I could say literature, writing, and I'm just thinking this through, and I just keep coming up with more art forms that I just add to this list, and I'm just trying to keep it simple. But I think it's like all art forms or creations and manifestations of the creative process. The best forms of them would be the forms where you are either verbally or through text describing the reality that you have perceived. And the reason why this is the most effective is because of the depth of detail that you can delve into when depicting these fantastical illusions and creations that you have come up with. And the reason why that is so significant, and the detail in which you depict these realities is so important, because that is the essence of the truest happiness in this reality, is the detail of the present, which provides the ability and the enhancement of your enjoyment of the present, because that's all that exists ever at any given time, and that's all that will ever exist, and that's all you'll ever do is just be perceiving the present. So you might as well make it fucking awesome. And the beauty in the present comes from the detail. You will see that in literature when people are depicting their creative processes and the realities that they have conjured, and you will see that in the present on your pursuit for eternal happiness and bliss, if that is your pursuit in life. Assuming it is, because if it isn't, you need to straighten your shit out and make it that, because there's no other reason for living other than satisfying yourself and experiencing this life for yourself. So anyways, back to the video. Truly, because the difficult, if the creative process and achieving what you achieve at the end of the creative process was an easy task, an easy feat, then art would be needless. We could all do it ourselves. We wouldn't read books. We wouldn't read fiction. We wouldn't watch YouTube videos, because what you're doing in all of that is absorbing yourself and engrossing yourself in an alternate reality created by somebody else's completely unique consciousness that has this reality will have the markings of that unique consciousness all in it, because it came from that consciousness. So of course it's like a reflection of that consciousness in a way, more or less. You know what I'm saying? You might know what I'm saying, you might not. I know what I'm saying. And so that the reason why that has such a big connection to YouTube is because that is the only way to be successful on YouTube, is to just be completely original, show people, take people on an adventure, bring them to a reality that has never before been experienced. Do not ever try to be like your role models. You can see what they've achieved and analyze how they got there and use that maybe as like a mold for your life, but your life and the beauty of it is that it is completely unique. It isn't, though. That's for another video. I'll crush your dreams in another video. But yeah, for now, you can believe that on the scale of humanity, you are the most unique being there is of your sort, because everybody else is different. So when you guys are embarking on your adventures of video making or just creating art, whatever, or just creating, just leave it at that one word, just creating, always keep it in mind that that is what you're doing. You're creating, you're not replicating. And this is what I said in the video after my super long break where I came back, and that's the big shift in my channel. Changing from replicating to creating. I've always tried to be a content creator, unique all along, but I've always watched closely at what others have done and why they're successful, how they've gotten to that point. Because I've always wondered, why can't I do that? And the reason is because I'm trying to be too much like them, and that's at that point you will always fail in any creative pursuit. So find your creative space, meditate, get to that hyper consciousness place, and snatch that adventure and that story and that reality you're experiencing in your head, not experienced by any others, and make it into a story. Let others experience it. And that is all of art. letting other experience your experiences and your not your experiences, your creations. So you guys go do that. I'm gonna go do that. That's what I'm doing. That's what I did in this video. Basically, I'll get back to you guys with more of this shit and more of this creation stuff. This intangible reality drawn forth out of the depths of my fantastical consciousness, which is also my reality. For the fact that there's no webcam in the coming video, and I did record it with webcam, and like half the reason there is video is because of the webcam, because I wanted you guys to see me talking, but the background video is just me running around my spawn that I'm building while talking in the webcam. But since I have this crappy computer that really sucks, the webcam